Can you call us the college basketball experts?
All right, welcome back to episode 2 of the Green Line Gazette. One day after episode 1, we got rapid fire here going into March Madness. I am joined here with my two good friends, Patrick Bloomquist, Ryan Cubert, self-proclaimed basketball experts, as they requested to be called moments ago. We're going to be going through the first round games today as games start tonight with the first four. And then we'll go into general talk about Final Four sleepers, and everything March Madness. I know Pat and Ryan, you guys have 12 games, right? You guys got some good numbers in on that you're going to want to talk about. So I'm going to bring up my bracket right now, and I'll don't laugh yet, but we're going to start with the East, right?
Ooh.
I mean, there's nothing to talk about. It's Duke, it's Siena, right? Yeah. We love the Saints. I'm sorry.
The real talk is how much Duke's going to win by. Is it going to be 30, 40?
I mean, let's see. What's the spread set at right now? It's 27.5. Like, I mean, sorry, right? No offense, but going down here's a tough one for me. Pat, we know, right? You want to tell everyone. I know you're an OSU homer. Is that true? Can we confirm that?
I mean, I wouldn't call myself a homer. I think this basketball team is playing great, specifically towards the end of the season. They had a big win over Purdue. They beat a good Iowa team in the Big Ten tournament. Only lost to the 1 seed in Michigan by 4. It was a close game, back and forth. And I really just want to highlight here 3 players on Ohio State that I think will get them over the top in this game. First one, Bruce Thornton, 4-year starter, 4-year team captain, 3rd team All Big Ten. Loki got snubbed, should have been first team. Averages 20 points per game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. He's 40% from 3. Bruce Thornton's your guy. He's going to bring it home for the Buckeyes. Great free throw shooter, too. Next up, you see him right there, John Mobley, 15.7 points per game, 42% from 3. This guy can hit from anywhere. He can pull it from half court. This guy's amazing shooter. And then finally, Amari Bynum, 6'8" freshman. He started the season off a little slow, but he's explosive. He's big. He'll get you blocks on defense. He'll get you rebounds. Christoph Tilly, too, another name. He's a 7-footer. I don't know where he's from. I think Germany. Not too sure about that. But this team's big. They're going to shoot the ball well, and I like them. I like them pretty big against this TCU team. I know TCU is a good team. They play good defense. They're led by David Punch and Xavier Edmonds. 14 points per game, 12.6 points per game, both forwards, 6'8". But TCU is a little undersized. They don't have that big man to compete with Tilly. So I like Ohio State to pull away in the second half, use their size against them.
Yeah, I would agree. I think this game is somewhat of a coin flip. Both teams are playing really good basketball right now. I would give TCU the defensive edge, while I would give Ohio State probably the offensive edge due to Thornton. But for me, I have in my bracket Ohio State to move on as well.
All right, great insight, guys. I mean, hey, I'm taking advice here, right? We could still, I mean, I could click that, and I could click that.
Maybe click them again. Maybe click them again.
Maybe we go back. We'll leave it at Ohio State from now because I got to say I'm quite convinced there. Moving on, right? I'm taking St. John's here. Not a very impressive out-of-conference schedule and results for them, right? It was pretty weak, and they didn't do well. But, I mean, hey, this is Northern Iowa, right? I know it's a 5-12, but I think Pitino – at least for this first round, they should glide through quite easily. I don't really see any contention here. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but
yeah, I totally agree. St. John's obviously has Pitino, one of the best coaches of all time. They're 19-20 in their last 20 games, including 2 wins against UConn, who is the 2 seed in this region. So it is kind of crazy that St. John's is a 5 when they've beaten the 2 seed twice. Including in the Big East championship game. Like you said, their only quad 1 wins have come in the Big East. They don't have any quad 1 wins outside of it, and that's, I think, what sort of the knock is on the team. They are also not a great 3-point shooting team, but they're a great offensive rebounding team, and I think their size is just going to destroy a Northern Iowa team who wasn't even one of the top 3 teams in their conference. They got hot and was able to win their conference tournament, but I think St. John's is going to be able to take them.
Yeah, I would echo that. However, I would be a little bit cautious with this game. Ryan's correct to point out that I think they were the 6th seed in their conference tournament, so they struggled a little bit in conference play. But they did get hot towards the end. And something that I looked into was during those conference tournament games, in 4 out of the 5 games, they shot over 40% from 3. So if they're hitting threes, they could beat any team. 52%, 67%, 42%, and 40% respectively. They're led by senior guard Trey Campbell, who averages 14 points per game. And in that final game in the conference tournament, he was making threes from all over. He kept extending the lead whenever they needed it. However, I do agree. I think it's tough to beat Patino in March Madness. So I would lean St. John's, but I would not be surprised if Northern Iowa can get this upset.
No, I think that's great insight. I mean, you can look at it right here on the screen. I mean, look at this out of conference like disaster. I mean, that's a 17-16 Auburn team. That's what a 10-seeded Kentucky team. You know, they play Iowa State, close 2 seed. Bama, right, still closer. But I mean, I'm not too moved about their out of conference play. I mean, again, right, they have that UConn win, but I see them getting by Northern Iowa. As for the second round, as you can see in my bracket, where I know we're going to talk about the Cal Baptist Kansas game, I have them going out. But moving to that, I think on your list, right, we're going Cal Baptist Kansas next. What do you guys got to say about that?
Yeah, I hate this Kansas team.
Agreed.
A lot of hype with Darren Peterson, and I do think he will probably go first in the draft this year, and he's a great player. But obviously there's been some inconsistencies and some sort of injury questions throughout the year. And with as good as Peterson's been, Kansas only has the 57th ranked offense in the country. So even though like people are like, oh, he's going to carry them, he's going to be able to make a deep run with him, they haven't done it all year. They have some good wins, especially against number 1 seed Arizona. But I just don't think that they're going to beat St. John's in the second round. So I do think, I know Pat really likes Cal Baptist. Well, I don't love them as much to win this game because their offense is pretty dreadful. It's pretty bad. I don't mind taking a flyer on them because I just think St. John's is going to win that second round no matter what.
Yeah, I like that thought process here. This is like, I like to kind of get upsets when I think the second round matchup favors the other team. So for this instance, St. John's, I think St. John's would handle Kansas. So I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on Cal Baptist. But before I get into Cal Baptist, I want to highlight Trey White. I think you could see him if you scroll back to the players. Obviously, you have Darren Peterson, who's great, but injury concerns, I don't know. Trey White shoots 46% from 3, so averages 14 points per game. So he's a good player as well. However, on your left side of the screen, you see what I see. Dominique Daniels Jr., 23.2 points per game. That's 5th in all of college basketball. My brother sent me a little highlight reel earlier this morning. This guy is electric. He's like a 5'10 guard. He can make layups from anywhere, underneath the basket, step back threes. This guy is amazing. So I wouldn't mind a flyer on Cal Baptist here.
I mean, hey, I hear you. Numbers are numbers, right? But I mean, look at what am I looking at, dude? Utah Valley, 2-2 against. Dude, I'm sorry, right? Like, I'm not moved by this team in the slightest. They didn't even play BYU close, who was quite underwhelming.
BYU was
this
good.
year.
They still had Richie Saunders, so we can give them kind of a bit of the doubt.
And then what's the whole deal? I mean, I've picked up on a lot of stuff with Peterson. Like, he just likes to sit out. Is that his deal?
So let me
flag himself out of his game. Like, what's going on?
Let me give you a quick stat here. So there's a 16 seed. I think they are Queens in the tournament this year. There's a 16 seed. I found this stat that 15 seed. The Queens played 6 games in their conference tournament. The 5 starters on Queens played, I think, every single minute in that. So 5 times 40, around 200 minutes. Each one of those guys had more minutes than Darren Peterson like this entire year. So this guy cannot stay on the court. That's absolutely ridiculous. Even when he's healthy, he plays like 20 minutes a game. He doesn't play the whole game. So obviously he's an amazing player, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. So, maybe we'll take the flyer on Cal Baptist. Probably not. Right. At least, I'm not going to be switching this. I don't think.
Yeah. You don't have to take all.
But anyway. All right. Moving on to the next one. You guys have another game in the East region. Right now we got Louisville, South Florida. As you can see, I'm feeling South Florida. Why? I don't know. Because I am, right? So I have moving on, but what's your guys'? That's why we brought you in. So what's the take here?
I think we should have prefaced the East region is by far the most stacked. Like there's so many good teams. There's so many good coaches in the East region.
Yeah, it's not
So
absolutely nuts. Absolutely.
It's crazy. But I'll kind of let Ryan kind of talk. He loves this South Florida team, so he'd agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
They love to keep the Duke Blue Devils, but that's all right. But yeah, we got to watch this South Florida team play Wichita State in their conference tournament in the conference finals, and man, I was very impressed for what I saw. Their big man Nelson is around 7 foot. I think he had maybe 5 blocks that game on Berg. Great big from Wichita State. He won the Defensive Player of the Year in his conference while also winning the National Player of the Year in his conference. He can hit the three. He hits his free throws. He's a beast in the paint. And defensively, he's just outstanding. I don't think Louisville has a guy that's really going to stop them. They're not the biggest team. And their bigs that they do have are not the strong suit of their team. South Florida also has 2 snipers in Ennis and Pinion, who didn't have the greatest conference final game, but throughout the year they're shooting well over league average. They're both phenomenal shooters, and they can shoot from anywhere. In addition to that, South Florida plays with the 16th highest pace in college basketball, and when we're looking at like upsets, we want teams that shoot a lot of threes, play good defense, and play fast. And I think that they do all those things and check all those boxes.
Yeah, ditto. I mean, you see Louisville's 2 guys right there, Ryan Conwell, Mikal Brown Jr., both average close to 20 points per game. But we watched the South Florida team played live. And not only can Wes Ennis make the 3, he plays great defense. He locks up the other team's guard. So he's going to take Conwell out of the game. I like South Florida here.
Yeah, no, I think that's perfectly said, right? We watch games, not box scores, guys, right? That's why South Florida's going to the second round, right? That's my first kind of hot pick, I would say. I mean, I don't think anything too controversial has come up next, right? Michigan State, similar to the Duke game, I don't see much resistance here playing North Dakota State. I mean, right, little controversy around them, right, with Fears, not the cleanest player at times, doesn't really have the public support, but I mean, you can't deny they're a good team. They've played good teams strong all year. Slow end to the season, right? It is what it is. But I mean, I don't know about you guys. I don't think North Dakota State's putting up a fight. I mean, 16.5, I'd say they cover that by quite a lot as well.
Yep.
Yeah, the only thing I'd worry about is if Jeremy Fears gets himself suspended for the tournament. Doing something in that game. That's my only worry.
We don't respect dirty players.
No. Absolutely. Especially not like Grayson Allen, right? I mean, Duke legend, of course. Anyway, moving on. I got UCLA over UCF. Just strictly off vibes, right? I like West Coast basketball, man. We already picked a Southern Central Florida team in USF already, so I think their time's up, to be honest. I don't know. You guys got a more nuanced take on this besides me?
Let me this was a late thought. I have a friend that goes to UCLA. He gave me some good information. So UCLA, since February 16th, according to Torvik, which is like KenPom, it's like a stat tracker, like ranks teams. They're the 4th best team in the country since February 16th, and they have the 2nd best offense since then as well. They had senior forward Tyler Bilodeau. He shoots 46% from threes, like a 6'9" forward. He got hurt in the towards the end of the season. He's expected to play. Similar story, Donovan Dent got hurt in the Big Ten tournament, expected to play. I don't see them having trouble with UCF. Another thing with Dent, prior to getting hurt, he had 77 assists to 6 turnovers in his last 7 games. Obviously coached by Mick Cronin, great coach. Love what he has to say in his post-game pressers. I'm hoping they go on a deep run so we can get some more wisdom from him. But yeah, I like UCLA here and potentially a deep run from UCLA.
Yeah, absolutely. Great analysis there. Moving on. UConn, Furman, same thing, right? I don't see much resistance there from Furman. UConn did crash and burn in the Big East tournament, right? 20-point loss to St. John's. Not ideal, but I mean, at the end of the day, right, it is Furman, right? Hurley and company should be able to take easy care of them. I have them beating UCLA, although in the second round, I mean, I think eventually they're going to revert back to the mean and be just fine. But I think Michigan State will will get the better of them. I don't know if you guys have any, I know Hurley's not the most well-recepted coach. I don't know if you guys have any
You
thoughts.
don't bet against him in March, man. He's gone too deep.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Team, I know there's a lot of nostalgia after they beat UVA a couple years ago, but I would say that team against Virginia probably would be favored by like 8.5 against this current Furman team. They're not the same.
Yeah. Let's see. South region now. I mean, nothing much to say here. Again, I don't think Florida's getting resistance from either of these teams. I don't know if you guys have I know Pat's pretty passionate about his first 4 picks. I don't know if you have one here for this Lehigh game.
We've been following this Lehigh team. They look good. They've got some good guard play. So I would go Lehigh here, but honestly, doesn't really matter. They're both losing to Florida.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, right. Patriot League tournament, that was cinema though, right? Well, we can admit we were watching greatness there, but yeah.
We were.
Florida's Florida. I don't see a story there, unfortunately. Here's a contested one. Clemson, Iowa, 8-9, always tough. I have Iowa going just because, I don't know. I think there's a good brand of basketball up there in the Midwest and the Big Ten, but what's your guys' shot?
Yeah, I can help you out here. I agree with that pick. Iowa's got a Missouri guy, blue collar, named Bennett Sturtz, averages 20 points per game, good from 3. He's gonna take this one home. Clemson, they don't really have a go-to guy. You got RJ Godfrey, 12 points per game forward. He's solid, but I like this Iowa team to move on. I think they're good. They're pretty big too. Played in a tough Big Ten conference, so I'd say they're a little bit underseeded. If they were in a different conference, they probably would have had a better regular season, but I like this Iowa team here.
Yeah, I would agree. They have the better player. Sturtz is just by far better than anyone on Clemson. I wasn't impressed with Clemson that much throughout the ACC season. Iowa plays in the Big Ten, like Pat said, best conference in basketball, arguably. Them in the Big 12. So, yeah, I think Iowa's got this one.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there. I mean, the reason I picked against Clemson here is I watched that BC-Clemson game. Right, obviously Clemson took care of business, right? It's Boston College. What are you going to do about it? They didn't look great. I wasn't too swayed by them. Little fun fact too, right? I'm sure you guys know Boston College, second longest drought amongst the high majors, 17 years with no March Madness berth, which is quite shocking, only trailing DePaul, which I think DePaul's 21, maybe 22. I think it was 2004, the last time they reached the tournament. No offense to DePaul fans out there, if you guys exist. Not too sure about that. But yeah, I mean, just watching that one Clemson BC game, I saw what I needed to see. Okay. And it wasn't enough. ACC kind of a weak conference this year. Wasn't too moved about that. Moving on, Vanderbilt, McNeese. Going Vandy, right? I loved what I saw out of them. They're actually one of the teams I watched more this year. I loved what they did in the SEC. Good for Vanderbilt athletics as well, right? Great football team, great basketball team, really rising. Hoping Boston College can follow suit. And then McNeese, I mean, hey, like, you got that manager, what's his name? You know what I'm talking about.
Amir
Oricon, right? Like, it was tough 3 years ago. Today, right? Wrap it up. I got Vanderbilt taking this one. I don't know if you guys have anything to say about this 11.5-point spread, so shouldn't be too close.
I think Vanderbilt's one of the most underseeded teams in the country. I think that they deserved a 3 or 4. I know the 12 versus 5 matchup is typically like the one that always has an upset, but I think in all my brackets, I have all the 5 seeds moving on. I don't think this year the 12 seeds are good enough to take them out. And yeah.
I would disagree with that a little bit. But yeah, this game, I like Vanderbilt. I agree with everything that's been said. But one thing I'd like to point out is that McNeese plays good defense. They're first in the nation in steal percentage. So Vanderbilt's can't turn over the ball. But McNeese is terrible from deep. They shoot 31%. Slow tempo. I like Vanderbilt here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the schedule here, right, wins over Alabama and Florida, playing Florida close again, right? I really agree with Ryan here. I think, they're a lot better than what, they get on the face value. All right, moving on. I know you were talking about this when you already see I got that pick queued in, right? We got Troy over Nebraska. I think Nebraska's quite Mickey, right? To be blunt. I'll let you guys take this one from here, but you see I'm already riding Troy, so I think we're on the same wavelength.
So I think I disagree with both. This is where I'm going to say hold your horses, because I was initially on Troy. I liked what I saw early in the year from Troy. They had a lot of games where they're scoring 90, 100 points per game. I think they averaged something like 80, so they could score the ball. However, Nebraska has never won an NCAA tournament game. They're going to be fighting for this. They're led by Rent Mast, 13.5 points per game, 6 rebounds. He struggled late, but the NCAA tournament, everyone's going to show up. And I don't know. I think this Nebraska team is going to get the job done. They have great perimeter defense. They hold opponents to under 30% from three, and only Iowa allows fewer points per game in the nation. So great defense, good offense as well. Troy, on the other hand, they have good wins early over San Diego State, UAB, good mid-major teams. But they kind of faded towards the end of the year, got hot in their conference tournament, but they're not very efficient from three, and Nebraska plays great defense. And another thing I'd point out is that Troy's a small team. No player on Troy is over 6'9", so I think Nebraska is going to bully them, just like Ohio State's going to bully TCU.
I would disagree. I love this Troy team. There was some people that thought Georgia Southern was going to win that conference. I won't name names, but Troy did end up beating Georgia Southern by a good amount. Their coach, they have a coach and 2 guards on that team who are obviously part of the same family. It's his 2 sons. They're both great 3-point shooters, so I think that they're going to have a chance. And while they aren't the biggest team, I don't believe that Nebraska is as well. I think they may have a couple 6'10" guys, but no true 7-footers that would cause too much problems for Troy.
Brent Mass is 6'10", so he's going to play some bully ball in the paint.
Yeah, I mean, and then look at this right here. Like this is ugly. What these 4 games we're looking at. I mean, but hey,
those are all
other side of the coin. I mean, look at this though, right? Like Illinois 3 seed, Michigan State 3 seed, Wisconsin, my sleeper pick. We'll get to that later, 5 seed. This game's going to be interesting. I think it's got potential.
Yeah, I think it could be interesting, but I do like Nebraska here.
All right, moving on to your next game you guys have circled. You see I'm taking the upset. I love my A10 teams, okay? I think they're gritty, right? I think they have a little chip on their shoulder, right? When you're in the A10, right, you're not in the MAC, you're not in the ACC, you're not in the Big East, right? You are the A10, right? Like you're kind of forgotten about, unfortunately. Like you have teams like UMass packing their bags and leaving your conference. You don't get a lot of respect, but man, I mean, once Wilson went down with that thumb injury for UNC, they looked quite shaky. Like, I'm liking VCU, man, like a lot. Look at that. It's only 2.5 right now. I mean, it's going to be a good one.
A devastating injury for Wilson. Really upset about that one.
Yeah, I mean, I agree about the things you had to say about the A10. Obviously, Caleb Wilson-led UNC team is a completely different team. That ceiling is Final Four, maybe national championship. Who knows what it could have been? Who knows? We don't know. That's a top 4 draft pick. However, now I don't see him going farther than the Sweet 16, and they're going to be challenged in this game. You guys are absolutely right. This is going to be a nail biter. VCU is a great free throw shooting team. Carolina, on the other hand, has struggled down the stretch in games when they've had leads. They have not converted wins. They have not shot well from the line. Carolina now is led by Henry Vassar, 7-footer, averaging 17 a game. But one thing I'd point out is he shoots 46% from 3. So he's a big guy, shoots well from 3-point range. Also led by Seth Trimble, senior guard, great defensive player. But he's struggled to shoot the ball this year, and that could cost him in this game. North Carolina's going to need to get open looks for their guys. Another guy that needs to play well is Derek Dixon, freshman guard. He's in his last 2 games against Duke and Clemson, he had 16 and 17. He needs to keep that up. He needs to play well in this game. He needs to shoot well, and Carolina should come out with it if all 3 of those guys play well. But if they don't play well, I got VCU here. VCU, deep bench. They're 7th in the nation in bench points. They average 34 a game from their bench. So their guys aren't going to get tired. They have a good rotation. They're a great 3-point shooting team. And like we said before, they can hit their free throws. So, yeah, this is a tough matchup for North Carolina. So I think this goes either way.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, moving on. We have Penn, Illinois, right? I'm taking Penn here. That's no slight.
Wait, time out.
Or sorry.
Illinois.
Excuse me. I'm taking Illinois here. No
Okay.
slight to Penn. Right? TJ Power, Massachusetts guy. What? He just dropped 44 in the Ivy League championship. With that being said, it still took a 44-point performance to beat Yale, right? I mean, hey, good for Penn, right? Shout out the Ivies. Always, cool to see them doing well. I don't think they really stand, much of a threat here to Illinois.
Agreed.
Yep.
One
All
thing
right.
to mention too is TJ Power was a former Power 4 player, played for Duke, did not play well. So we've kind of seen what he does against these bigger teams. And I don't
There
see
you go.
Played is a word. He didn't.
He was on the team.
He was on the team.
All right, here we go. I'm taking A&M here over St. Mary's. Again, I don't really like St. Mary's conference. I think it's weak. I don't think they play anybody. They're out of conference. Performances aren't too moving. I mean, look at this. Like losing by 25 to Vandy, losses to Boise State, Santa Clara, right? We'll talk about them later. Unless you guys have objections, right? I can't really see St. Mary's doing well in this game.
Yeah, I think St. Mary's is the third best team in a pretty weak conference. I think Gonzaga and Santa Clara are both better than them. I think Texas A&M is just gonna be too big and too physical, and they're just gonna run over them.
Yeah, I mean, much of the same has been said. St. Mary's is a good defensive team, but I think Texas A&M is too big for them.
Absolutely. All right, we got Houston over Idaho, right? Nothing much to talk about there. So we're obviously taking Houston. We're going to go
that game, but
yeah, what a like.
All right, we'll go to the West now. We got Zona over Long Island. Again, nothing much to say besides, hey, fins up, right? We love what Long Island's doing over there, right? Changing the culture, winning the NEC. Good for them. With that being said, right, you're unfortunate you're running into the giant that is Arizona. No hate to Long Island, but I don't think you're getting it done here. 30.5-point spread. Wow. I mean, my goodness. But again, hey, great season, LIU. We're rooting for you, but I don't think it's getting done. All right, Villanova, Utah State. I know this is one of the ones you guys wanted to talk about, so I'll let you guys take it from here. Sorry, but I have Utah State.
yeah, I think most people have Utah State. It's not really even an upset. The books have Utah State winning. KenPom has Utah State as the better team. They are 30, while Villanova's at 33. Utah State has a better offensive rating. They are elite in scoring in the paint. They have very similar defensive ratings, while Utah State is better at forcing turnovers. I think they're just the better team. The only thing you could argue is that Villanova plays, in the Big East in a Power 5 conference, but the Big East is probably one of the weaker ones out of all of them, and the Midwest, where Utah State is from, is one of the better mid-major conferences. So I just think Utah State, as the books and as most people have been picking, have the advantage here. They're both relatively smaller teams in size. I don't think either of them really have a chance against Arizona, but I do think Utah State is going to take this one.
Agreed. However, this is another one of those games where I think you could go, if you want to lean Villanova, you can lean Villanova because neither of these teams is beating Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, I got to agree with that. I don't think either of them will pose a threat. I mean, you can see right here about basically even. The public seems also pretty split, but I like what Rye said. Big East, right? Power 5, sure. Just weak this year. Not super moved by much of what's gone on in that conference. So I think we'll ride Utah State into the second round. Here we have Wisconsin High Point. I am super high on Wisconsin. I have them in my Final Four.
I love
They have just, I mean, we can look at the results here at Michigan, Michigan State, Illinois, Purdue, Illinois again, Michigan State, a loss by, I mean, these guys are dogs. Unfortunate losses that they've picked up, along the way, sure, but I think come March, these guys are going to be hard to deny.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you have them in your Final Four. I think this is if you don't want to chalk it up and go 4-1 seeds, Wisconsin's a great sleeper pick. They have the best backcourt in the country. Nick Boyd, 20.6 points per game. John Blackwell, 19 points per game. They shoot the three at a high percentage, 36%, and they make 12 threes a game. So they shoot the ball a lot, shoot a lot of threes, and they have great wins. Michigan, Michigan State, Illinois, Purdue, like we said. A lot of I've been hearing some stuff about High Point. They're a good defensive team. They get a lot of steals. One thing that I thought was interesting is that High Point gets 11 steals per game, and in games where Wisconsin turns the ball over 10 times, they're 4-8. So if High Point can get these steals, can get these turnovers, High Point might have a chance. But I just think Wisconsin's going to be too good. I don't think High Point will be able to guard them.
Yeah, I agree with everything that's been said. Just to go off what Pat was saying, they have the sixth highest, 3-point shooting rate in the country, and they shoot a very good percentage. They have the eighth best offense in the country. Like we've said before, they have a bunch of good wins against 1-2 seeds, and what makes them sort of an interesting matchup against Arizona is that Arizona is 363rd in 3-point rate in the country. Partly due to the fact that they're so dominant in the paint, they don't really have to shoot that many threes. They do have 3-point shooters on the team. But ultimately, if Wisconsin finds a way to play Arizona and gets extremely hot, I don't know if Arizona is going to be able to match that with just scoring in the paint in twos. And I think they are a good pick to make the Final Four if they get hot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hey, and there's no denying, right? High Point's on a 14-game win streak entering March Madness. But I mean, if you look here, right, losses to Winthrop, Southern Illinois, UAB, right? Like, I mean, sure, they're on a win streak there. I don't see them doing much against Wisconsin, to be quite honest. We'll move on to your guy. I know it's your guys' favorite, right? Arkansas, the Hogs. We got Hogs versus Hawaii.
Yeah. Arkansas is just an electric team. If there's one team that's going to stop Wisconsin, it's going to be the Hogs. However, Arkansas doesn't play defense. This team is purely offense. They got one guy who maybe plays a lick of defense, Trayvon Brazil. Billy Richmond can get you some defense. Brazil gets you a lot of blocks, but yeah, they don't play defense. However, they're spectacular on offense. They've got they might have the best offense in the nation just off the eye test. Malik Thomas, Darius Acuff Jr., who I think probably is the best player in the country. Billy Richmond, Trevon Brazil. Yeah, and on the other hand, you have Hawaii. One thing to note, Hawaii is a big team. That 5 key players are 6'7" or bigger, led by a 7-footer, Isaac Johnson, 14 points per game. But Hawaii turns the ball over a lot, and although Arkansas sucks at defense, they'll get those steals, and Arkansas is probably going to blow them out of the water.
Yeah. One fun fact I learned about Arkansas today, actually, is that they lead the nation in dunks. They throw a lot of alley-oops. They play a lot in transition. Richmond and Brazil just punch it on people. They're a lot of fun to watch, but their defense has much. It's not very good.
That's some good Calipari basketball right there, a little Lob City.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at it here.
Yeah, look at these scores, man.
117 points, 111, 93, 94, right? Like, the best defenses in the country are holding teams to, 60 points, 70 points, right? Giving up upwards of almost 90 points every game. It's really placing a lot of stress on that offense to do well.
To defend that Alabama-Arkansas game that you saw with the 117 points, those teams both just transition offense. Neither team plays defense, so that game's just back and forth. But, yeah, no defense.
No, absolutely. All right, moving on. BYU versus the winner of Texas and North Carolina State. I obviously have BYU. I'm really high on DeBansa, another mass guy, obviously. But I have BYU going pretty far all the way to the Elite Eight, facing up with Wisconsin. I don't think they have a particularly hard path to the Elite Eight. I mean, if you look here, they're probably going to get Gonzaga, and then I have Miami upsetting Purdue. But even if they get Purdue, Purdue's track record in March Madness, as you guys know, is quite subpar. So I think BYU knows what they have to do, and I know they had a, not the regular season you would want, but I'm quite high on BYU coming into March.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about BYU. I do agree that this sort of bottom half of this region is not very good. Someone's going to have to come out of it. Not a big fan of Gonzaga or Purdue as well, or Miami. I think AJ, unlike, I know we talked about Darren a little earlier, can lead this team, can drop 30, 40 points and get this team to a Sweet 16, maybe even Elite Eight. But I think they'll have an easy time in this first game.
I might want to transition us a little bit here because I'm a little bit worried that we're overlooking Gonzaga right now, especially if Braden Huff can play. This guy's been out since January 15th. I think he got like a patella injury, but he's jogging right now. He's shooting around. If he can play in this tournament, we don't have any confirmation yet. I like Gonzaga to go on a little bit of a run. Before he was hurt, he was averaging 17.8. You see the stats, 17 points per game, 5.6 rebounds. Obviously, you have Graham Ike, Conference Player of the Year, another great player. But if Braden Huff can come back, I like this Gonzaga team to definitely beat BYU, especially after BYU lost Richie Saunders. I think that was a big that hurt their team a little bit, but obviously you still got DeMonsa. But yeah, I like Gonzaga if Huff's playing.
Yeah, I mean, for Gonzaga, we could just go to that, right? Kennesaw State probably not gonna do much there, to be quite honest.
No.
Glaring hole in Gonzaga's resume, though, is that 40-point loss to Michigan. Again, part of that weak conference that St. Mary's comes from. What is that, the WAC, right? Am I correct in saying that? Or is it the WCC?
Like the W.
Is it WAC or WCC? I can never remember.
I think it's WCC.
But for good reason, right? Like, it's just a weak, top-heavy conference. I have never been super high on them there, to be quite honest. But we'll go to Miami, Missouri. I have Miami. I like what I saw out of them in ACC play, especially when they played Boston College. The way they move the ball, their offense is quite fluid. There is concern, though. Their defense at times looked like they had never played basketball in their life. It was quite confusing to watch. You can see their conference record here, not great, but I also just think Missouri is horrible. So I think Miami kind of got blessed here.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd go Miami here. They're a tough physical team, but yeah, they are a little weird. They're kind of streaky. They'll give you good performances, and then they'll lose to Virginia in the tournament by like 20 points, and it's like, what are we looking at? But yeah, I'd go with Miami here.
Both these teams suck. They're both losing to Purdue. Not according to you, but
well, maybe I could change.
Yeah, I would change that.
Yeah, but we're still taking BYU though.
No.
Yes.
All right. Should we go to Purdue?
I mean, if you want to talk about them, we respect Queens, right?
I think something we can look at here is if Purdue does their film research, if they do their homework, they know Queens can shoot the three, right? However, we watched Queens play. What was their conference called? What tournament was that? I forget. It's some random conference. We watched them play in this conference final. What were they up 15 with a minute to go or something?
Something like that.
They turned the ball over off inbounds plays 5 times in a row, let it go to OT, ultimately got the victory. But if Purdue did their film homework, I think if they full court press them the whole game, I think Purdue can limit this Queens team to 20 points. I think they can limit them to 20 points.
Yes, I completely agree. I think Braden Smith can drop 40. They let this lefty guard on, who knows, drop 45 on them.
Yeah, Central Arkansas.
Yeah. I mean, hey, good for Queens though, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys know they're merging with Elon
Yeah.
in Charlotte. I think that's where Elon is. So their first ever and their last ever tournament bid. So, right, good for them. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to be quite close, frankly. But hey, just like LIU, we're happy for them. We're happy to see them there. But don't expect too much noise out of that.
They're scoring.
We'll go.
All right, we're gonna skip this 116. That'll be our closer. All right, we're gonna skip.
Yeah, because I know you're really excited about UMBC.
I'm excited.
I got Georgia over St. Louis. I watched like 3 St. Louis games this year, and I wanted to like rip my eyes out. I thought they're horrible. Not too sure how the spread here is so close. I get Georgia's not great either, but I mean, yeah, you guys know more than me. But my casual take is St. Louis.
I'm going to cut you off here.
Hey, to preface, Pat is from East St. Louis.
I'm going to cut you
Everybody
off.
knows that, so maybe I should watch my tongue. But I think
first of all, you were hyping up the A10 earlier. This team won the A10 regular season, so you should be hyping up this SLU team as well. They beat VCU by like 20 points in the regular season. There was a brawl in the stands. I think they beat them twice.
Yeah, that was actually electric. Yeah,
You can check those facts, but I'm just going to give you the numbers here. This was given me by one of my family friends, former player, season ticket holder. He's watched them all year, so he knows what he's talking about.
So we got inside information. Is that
we do. I'm bringing the intel.
Do we need to disclose that? I mean,
I'm backing up my evidence with sources.
Okay. All right.
So it's credible. This pick, first of all, needs to be changed right now. So you can go ahead and click SLU. Coached by Josh Schertz. They play a pro style game. They only take threes and they only shoot layups. No middies, no terrible shots. It's 3s and 2s. Led by Robbie Avila, 6'10" big man, elite passer. He's kind of like Jokic, a little bit. Runs the offense. He's 42% from 3 and directs the offense. And surrounding him, they have 4 shooters that are all over 40% from 3. Trey Green, 46%. Deion Brown, former BC guy, Boston College Eagle, 40%
shout out Deion Brown.
3. Ishan Sharma, 43% from 3. Brady Dunlap, 44% from 3, along with Avila, who shoots 42% from 3. So that's 5 total guys that shoot over 40% from 3. As a team, I think they shoot 40% from 3. This team's going to light up Georgia. Georgia, solid SEC season. First time with a winning record in the conference is 2016, but they're a bad defensive team. They aren't going to be guarding this 3. It's going to be splashing. I like SLU here, and I like SLU big. I like a 10-point SLU victory.
Hey, ChatGPT, write me a 1-paragraph.
I told you where I got this info from.
Anyway, I see Ryan shaking his head, so it looks like he's got something to say.
Might let up 40. Yeah, the whoever the Georgia center is
doesn't even know.
I don't know. But if you're listening to this, just post them up or just run by, walk by him. The guy can't move his feet. The guy, he's gonna get exposed by someone. This Georgia.
So I mean, do we take Georgia? Do we take St. Louis? What's going on? They're both losing to Michigan, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It doesn't
whoa! Michigan might not get there, my friend. Based off the evidence presented, who would you go with?
I mean, you didn't give me any evidence for Georgia besides the fact that you said they're not good.
You're going with the Billikens. You're going with the Billikens.
We'll chalk them.
There you go.
There you go. They are losing, so it doesn't really matter. Texas Tech, Akron. I know this is one on your guys' list, so I'll let you take it from here. I obviously got Texas Tech circled, but perhaps you're gonna change my mind.
Yeah, I'll start with this one. I think I'd agree with that. I think this game's gonna be close, though. Obviously, Texas Tech had one of the best players in the country in JT Top, and averaged 22 points per game, but tore his ACL. He's out for the season, so he's not playing. Still have Christian Anderson, 19 points per game. But Akron's hot right now. They've won 19 of their last 20. They won their conference tournament. Both teams shoot the 3 a lot. They live and die by the 3. I would go with Texas Tech, but we'll see what Ryan has to say.
Yeah, like I said, I think all the 5 seeds are winning this year. I think Texas Tech is the much better team. Their offensive rating has actually improved without Toppin over the course of this year, which is kind of shocking because Toppin was going to probably be a finalist for National Player of the Year. He's that good. Akron loves to shoot 3s, as Pat said. They shoot at a great percentage, 38%. But during their conference tournaments, they won, but they didn't shoot great. So maybe it sort of reverts back to the mean, and they have a great night against Texas Tech and they win. But it seems like they're in a little bit of a slump. So I would take Texas Tech.
Yeah, well said there. Yeah, I'm going to ride with you. Here I'm coming in hot here. Hofstra over Alabama. I talked about this on the podcast yesterday. Williston guy, CAA Rookie of the Year, Preston Emad, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. Just lighting it up in the CAA. Alabama, man, I forget his name, just got arrested for having
Aiden
a
Holloway.
pound of
Aiden Holloway.
Aiden Holloway had a pound of weed on him, like in his car.
2.1 pounds.
Yeah,
2.1.
Sorry, 2.1 pounds. That
in
was
the apartment,
supposed-
and then yeah.
supposedly for personal use. We'll see how that shakes out. He was suspended from the team. So interesting to see how they will proceed with that. But I mean, with that news, right, that guys, that can't be good for team chemistry. Come on. Like we're fooling around like that in March. And then, Hofstra's just, I mean, red hot right now, like 11.5. Oh my God. We're hammering Hofstra. I don't think they make it much farther than the first round, but I mean, I can't see how you don't pick them here. I'm sure you both agree.
I agree.
I agree, but I feel like since everyone is taking Hofstra now, maybe a pivot towards Bama.
Everyone, 7.7 million to 900,000. Everyone.
Twitter. I guess we're the only ones that
Maybe it's Twitter.
News. But
Well, a lot of it just picked the higher seed for.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, that's the one I've been preaching to the choir, right? People will know. These two will know. I stood on the rooftops and I yelled for a week straight that UMass was taking down Miami in the MAC. Nobody listened to me. Right?
Pat listened.
Shocker.
Others didn't.
Of course.
Others didn't.
Of course, UMass takes them down, right? We watched that regular season UMass Miami game. We knew what was going to happen, right? I know what I'm talking about, right? A little bit at least. This is a classic case of UMass and Miami. So take note that I said it now. It is today, St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, day the tournament starts. Hey, speaking of Miami of Ohio, right? Taking on SMU in the first four, where they will go to face Tennessee, regardless of who wins that game. I think SMU is going to win. First of all, I think Miami is. Love them. It was a great story. I thought it was really cool, but yeah, just not a good basketball team. Tennessee's going to handle either of those teams quite well, I think.
I would disagree. I think SMU has a real good shot to beat Tennessee. Tennessee is not a good 3-point shooting team. They're not a good 2-point shooting team. And they're not good at the free throw line. They're really bad.
So they don't do anything? Is that what you're telling
Not
me?
really.
Not to mention, they might have been the worst team I've watched all season when they played Vanderbilt in the SEC tournament.
As you see, Nate Ament, he's their best player. He was the 5th best high schooler in his class this year. He's going to probably go top 10. He is not very good.
Yes.
I don't like his game at all. He's like a 6. He's one of those 6'8" really long wings that can put the ball on the floor and shoot. But I just don't love his game. I think SMU is the better 3-point shooting team and the better 2-point shooting team and the better free throw shooting team. I don't see how Tennessee does have a better defense, but I think SMU, who had a bunch of good wins in the earlier in the season, but sort of fell off as of late. I think they have just as good of a shot to beat them.
Yeah, SMU started the season really strong, and then they fell off, but then they got 2 key wins end of the season to put themselves back into this tournament. I agree with Ryan. I think SMU is going to win the playing game, and I think SMU will handle Tennessee. SMU also has the coolest name in the country. Boopy Miller's on the team, coolest guy in the country, coolest name in the country. He's a dog. But yeah, I'd go with us. We'll help you out there. We'll give you a little insight. We're going to take SMU.
Yeah, I might click that, right? And then we're looking here, right? These 2 late season losses to Vanderbilt. Speaks to the trajectory of both teams, right? Vanderbilt heating up at the right time, and then Tennessee, apparently the team who can't shoot, can't rebound, can't do anything. They're not beating Virginia, sorry. But all right, well, we'll take them there because, again, I see zero world in which Miami of Ohio gets it done. Right, they start playing teams outside of MAC, outside of random Midwest low majors, and it gets ugly. So. Moving on, Virginia, Wright State. I don't have much to say about that. I don't think you guys do either. Right? Should be just a solid game. Yeah. And then right now I got Kentucky, Santa Clara. Wow, we're taking Santa Clara. Okay. Not super moved by what Kentucky has done this year. And I think that how long ago was that? Was that 3 years, 2023, when they lost to Oakland, right? That just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I don't care if none of the players on that team or even the coach is still there. It doesn't matter. It's in the back of their head, right? Like they're going to think about it so much that they don't want it to happen that it's going to happen, right? This time, a little less extreme case, but I'm taking Santa Clara.
Yeah, Kentucky has all the talent in the world, and they're still terrible. They can beat anyone realistically on paper. I think they have their NIL budget is like $25 million this year or something. It might be higher. But they can also,
ridiculous, yeah.
They can also lose to anyone in the world. Like they could lose to like Queens. Like this team, like there's no chemistry. It's you win one, you lose the next four. I like that Santa Clara pick. Santa Clara had a good conference tournament. They played Gonzaga close until the end of the game where Gonzaga pulled away a little bit, but it was tied at half. Santa Clara, good defensive team. I don't mind that pick at all.
Yeah, I would agree. Like I said, I think Santa Clara was the second best team in their conference. I think they're a little underseeded. I think Kentucky's a little overseeded. I think they have a great chance.
Yeah,
absolutely. Going on, right, I'm taking Iowa State. I have them going quite deep. I love I'm going to butcher this last name. You know who I'm talking about. Milan. Let's see.
Big MM.
Big MM. We're going to call him Eminem, right? That dude, like,
MM.
I don't know if you saw his most recent performance. I think he hit like 8. It was just ridiculous to watch. They'll handle Santa Clara in the second round. They're going to handle the first round against Tennessee State quite easily. I'm really high on Iowa State. I got them going all the way to the to my Final Four, and then
I love that
winner.
I love that.
I have been hearing some rumblings about Tennessee State. I've
what?
I have. I could be wrong.
Well, where have you been hearing these rumblings? Like in your stomach?
Like
their
coach played at Duke. I could be wrong.
Oh, that's true.
I could be wrong, but I've been hearing some rumblings. I've been hearing.
Well, that's awesome.
I like what I've been hearing from that long.
Their coach was on the 2010 Duke national championship team.
Okay.
That's why he likes Tennessee State. One thing I'd point out too, I love this Iowa State pick. Honestly, I'm gonna make a couple brackets. I'm gonna have Iowa State winning one of mine. Definitely getting into the Final Four in a couple. I think one thing to highlight, like we said earlier, the East is by far the strongest region. I think the Midwest is the weakest. There are rumors Michigan might get upset in the first round by UMBC. Virginia is not a strong 3 seed. Iowa State is clearly the second best team in that conference. Honestly, might be better than Michigan. Michigan had a weak showing in the Big Ten tournament. They didn't look very good. But yeah, I really like this Iowa State pick from you here.
Not too sure. Hey, I guess we got to go back to that. Not too sure who is also rumbling about.
All right,
Michigan.
Let me set the scene. Let me set the
scene. Howard.
Let me set the scene.
You know what? Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so UMBC, obviously, we know what happened. I think it was 2018. Something around that. I think it was 2018, first 16 seed ever to upset a 1 seed in beating Virginia. Obviously, different team, different coach, different players. And in the American East Conference, won the tournament. This team has 3 guys that can get you 20 on any given night. You got, I might butcher this, Jalakai King can give you 20. Ace Valentine can give you 20, 38% from 3. And then the guy that's going to bring you home, DJ Armstrong Jr. I want anyone listening to this right now to go watch the highlight. Not this guy, DJ Armstrong Jr. They call
you want DJ Armstrong?
DJ Armstrong Jr. I want anyone watching right now to watch Vermont UMBC American East Conference Tournament highlights and watch what this guy did to Vermont at the end of the game. He's a closer. He shoots 42% from 3. This guy can give you 30. And I think if there's a 16 seed this year that's going to do it, it's going to be this UMBC team. Like I said earlier, Michigan struggled in that Big Ten tournament. They played an Ohio State 9 seed, only beat them by 4. Buzzer beater against Wisconsin to beat them at the end of the game, and then they obviously got pretty much blown out by Purdue. Purdue went 40 minutes leading the game. So I think if there's a team to do it this year, UMBC, mark my words, we'll see. Is this game on Friday or Saturday? We'll see then. But this UMBC team, this is who we're rolling with this year.
Don't do it. Please don't.
I don't think I can get behind that. I'm sorry.
Mara and Lendenberg might drop 50 each. I wouldn't touch it.
So what was can someone remind me the last 1 seed? Who was on that team that lost? Oh, Purdue, Zach Edey. 7-4. We're not scared of the big guy here. If we're shooting the 3 well, if 3J is splashing from anywhere, this UMBC team's dangerous. Maybe Gap.
What did you just call him? 3J?
3J. That's his nickname because he makes
you know
threes.
him? Okay.
I do.
Gotcha.
I trust me. I'm all over this guy. I'm all over him.
All righty. I can't say I'm too moved, right? 33 against UVM. Dude, it's UVM. It's the American East, sorry. But who cares, right?
You got
9, 11, 14, 9. Like, dude, look at the team. UMass Lowell, New Jersey Institute of Technology, UNH, UMass Lowell, University of Vermont. Like, dude, I'm sorry, man. Like,
who did FDU play? Who did UMBC play when they beat them? That doesn't work. That argument doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, that's because the teams they beat, like Purdue, were frauds. Michigan is not a fraud. I think that's
Ryan. Are they a fraud?
No, they're not.
Some people watched the Big Ten tournament and thought otherwise.
All right, well, we'll let people think what they want to think. We're gonna move into my Final Four, and then I want to get your guys' feedbacks. I want to hear who you're high on. We'll start coming out of the the East region. I have Michigan State. With that being said, we already said it. This region is just like a gauntlet. You really have no clue what could happen here. You could have UConn, Duke, Michigan State. I mean, it could get really tricky. Even maybe Kansas. I don't think St. John's has what it takes, but I have Michigan State. I want to know what you guys think about that. I'm not super high on Duke, Ryan. I'm sorry. Not impressed with their recent showing, especially against Florida State. 80-79 win, right? It's Florida State. Like, come on. Like, what are we doing? I have Michigan State, right? Like we said, they're a dirty team. Everybody knows that, but you know what? They're a good team, good coach with the Izzo. So what do you guys think? East region.
Yeah, absolutely not. Duke is going out of this region. I think their performance in the ACC tournament was more encouraging than not. I think some people looked at it and was like, oh, Caleb Foster, Patrick Gamba, they're out. They're not playing as well. That's kind of scary. I looked at that finals game. Cam Boozer shot 3 for 17 from the field. And then obviously the two starters that I just named were not playing. Cam Boozer is the most efficient player in KenPom history. He shoots like 57% from the field, 40% from three. For him to have such a bad game and for them to be missing two starters and they still beat a 3 seed, I think that's more encouraging than not. That Florida State team played Duke well all year. Their one other matchup against them, I think they only beat them by 6.
I think it was 4.
Yeah,
it was a close one. Yeah,
it was a close game.
That Florida State team for some reason gave Duke problems all year, so I'm really not looking at that game too much. Patrick Gamba will be back by the round of 32.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Caleb Foster could come back by the Final Four. That's a little bit – I'm more on the fence about that. I think Duke's biggest challenge in this region is St. John's. I think they're gonna play Michigan State in the he shot bad.
Good highlight.
Is that today's date? Oh, it was for St. Patrick's Day. He's in the festive season. He's in the festive season, man. Yeah. 13 points in the biggest game of the season, really? Like, am I supposed to be moved? I don't think so.
I think that's more encouraging than not. I think he's going to have a great tournament. He looked a little tired down the stretch there, so I think that's part of it. But I think their biggest competition, like I said, is St. John's. I think Michigan State, who they already played and beat, it is not going to. I don't trust Izzo late in the season there. I don't think they're going to take them. So I think Duke's going to win this region.
Yeah. So I got 2 answers here. If you want to win your bracket, you're going to take Duke. Duke minimum makes it to the Elite 8. They might lose to Michigan State or UConn by then, but they're minimum Elite 8 lock, especially if Gamba gets back. I think he's a big piece of that offense and defense. Unlike my fellow co-host or fellow co-analyst here, Ryan, I think they look terrible in the ACC tournament without him. I don't think that Caleb Foster loss is that terrible because it looks like Caden Boozer has been playing well, and he's kind of filled that role that Foster left when he got hurt. However, if you want to have fun, you're going to take the Ohio State Buckeyes to the final.
So if you want, in
At
other words, if you want to
first
lose your
senior
bracket
for your
and
team captain,
donate all
you're
your
gonna take
money to all your buddies, you take Ohio State.
if you want to, if that's a bracket winner if they make it, man.
They might not
They
even
beat
make it
you.
out of whatever. We'll ignore that comment. We'll go to the South region. I have Vanderbilt coming out of this, right? I love Vanderbilt. We already talked about them and their season, their late season push. They beat the big teams. They're kind of like the Wisconsin of the SEC, right? They have some ugly losses, but I mean they just seem to turn up big every time they get a giant on the court. So what do you guys think there? And I'm sure we agree, guys, right? Everybody?
I can start. I don't mind it. However, I think the winner is going to be the winner of that Illinois-Houston game. I think both those teams are more of a complete team. I think Houston's got obviously well-coached team. They always have a great defense, and they do this year. Kingston Flemings is a lottery pick, 16 points per game. Emmanuel Sharp, 15 points per game. I would go Houston coming out of that, but obviously on the left you see Keaton Wagler. He's a lottery pick this year. Something to note about him, and he was kind of under-recruited out of high school. He's from I think he's an hour away from Lawrence, Kansas, where KU is, and he wasn't even recruited by Bill Self. I think his only major offer was Illinois, and that's where he ended up going, and now he's going to be like a top 10 pick in the draft. So I like that Illinois team too, but I'd go with Houston out of this side of the bracket.
Yeah, Vanderbilt's got no chance. That's a terrible pick.
All right, you'll see.
That's a terrible pick. I think it's either Houston or Florida. I think you got a lot of upsets there. One thing I know is that for KenPom, I think if you have a KenPom rating of 35 plus, I think teams are 14-0 and making the Final Four. I think every single team that has had a 35 plus net rating has made it, including last year where all 4 1 seeds made the Final Four. All of them had a 35 plus net rating. The 3 1 seeds, not including Florida, all meet that requirement this year. So to me, I think the Final Four is going to be pretty chalky. I think it's going to be a lot of 1 seeds. I think Houston's got a chance to sneak in, maybe Iowa State, but Vanderbilt, no.
Yeah, I'd agree with Rob.
You'll see.
I personally love this side. I can do these 2 at once. I'm going to create multiple, like I said before. One of mine is going to have both Wisconsin and Iowa State in this Final Four, like you. However, more often than not, you're going to get 1 seeds. You're going to get 2 seeds in these Final Fours. I do think, though, like what the stat that Ryan gave is good, but like watching the conference tournaments, I think out of the 4 1 seeds, Arizona looked the best in that. In their conference tournament, they beat Houston pretty convincingly, and they've been playing great all year. So I would personally lean Arizona to come out of that, but I do like that Wisconsin team, as do you. And I also agree. I think Iowa State can definitely come out of that Midwest region.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll go to Wisconsin's region, the West, right? We talked about this. I have Wisconsin. Pat, we know you like that. Yeah. Ryan, we'll get your input here in a second. But I mean, just like Vandy, these guys are giant killers. Bad losses here and there. But I mean, like I said earlier, I think, it's time. March is, it's time to turn up. And I think they're going to rise to the occasion.
Yeah, I like I said, I think Wisconsin, like if they shoot the lights out, could beat Arizona, since Arizona generally doesn't shoot that many threes. But I think Arizona's probably been the most consistent team all year. Maybe they don't have the ceiling as Duke, who is my tournament favorite, but partly because they just don't have a player as good as Cam Boozer on their team,
and partly because that's his favorite team.
But they don't have a player like Cam Boozer on that team. But they're just so consistent. They're unless something crazy happens, like Boyd or Blackwell start just making a bunch of threes, I just don't see how they don't come out of that region.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. I mean, again, we'll see how it all shakes out. That's what, makes this all exciting. And then, right, my champion, Iowa State, coming out of the Midwest here. I think we talked about this, right? One of the weaker sides of that bracket. Michigan, I don't know. I'm not too if Iowa State can shoot the way he did in our buddy Eminem can go lights out, like I think you're going to be hard pressed to find an answer to this Iowa State team.
Yeah, the one thing I'd say about Iowa State, this isn't really going off like anything fat, but they're always a good team, and they seem to never go that far in March. Like, they're always pretty high up there, and they always get bounced earlier. So I don't know how – I haven't watched them too closely this year. I don't know how different this team is. But, yeah, that's just something to note.
Yeah, I think Virginia is going to beat Iowa State. I think they're going to knock them off. I think they're – I'm not a big Virginia guy. My dad went there. We don't love to see them win too much. But I think Virginia is one of the better defensive teams in this country. And Iowa State, they just never get it done, as Pat said. I think Michigan's going to come out of this side. I think people are a little underrating them. I know they didn't have the best Big Ten tournament run, but I think they've shown that they've been one of the 3 best teams all year.
Yeah, well, fair enough. That's all I have on my end. If you guys have any closing statements,
I guess I would just say this: DJ Armstrong Jr. That's all. All
right, hey man, if you call it, good for you. But I don't know.
The Green Line Gazette's blowing up if I call this.
Right, we'll clip this. This will go
viral.
Yeah,
we'll clip it. We'll get in our socials. We'll circulate.
Yeah, if
you were here first.
Yeah, if I'll give you $100 if Izzo makes the chip, he's got no chance.
All right, I'll take that bet. I mean, I'm not giving you any. I'm not giving you anything, but
all righty. We'll be holding the trophy this year.
Okay. Well, we'll have to see about that. Reminder, right? It kicks off tonight. First 4 UMBC, yep. Right? We'll find out. We'll find out very soon. If
I hope I'm not gonna have to eat my words here.
Yeah, if Pat's inklings are correct, maybe Howard gets done. You never know. But that is all for now for episode 2 of the Green Line Gazette. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Substack. You can listen to this podcast on YouTube and Substack. And special shout out to Pat and Ryan for taking some initiative and hopping on and helping me out with my bracket. But that's all for now. And you know what? We'll check in after tonight. We'll make a statement after this UMBC.
We will make a statement.
It could get ugly based off.
There might need to be a no comment from the Green Line Gazette after.
Yeah.
No questions.
Not me. From you.
No questions at this time.
Absolutely. But that's all for now. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.